There is a moment that almost every parent of twins experiences, yet very few talk about honestly. It usually happens in the middle of the night, surrounded by crying, exhaustion, unfinished responsibilities, and the overwhelming realization that love alone does not prepare anyone for raising two babies at the same time. Society celebrates twins with smiles, photos, and fascination, but behind those beautiful images exists a reality that tests patience, identity, relationships, and emotional strength in ways most people cannot imagine. Parents of twins are expected to survive double the pressure while pretending they are handling everything gracefully. The truth is far more complicated, far more emotional, and far more human. This reflection is not just about parenting twins. It is about discovering how fragile, resilient, exhausted, and deeply connected people can become when life suddenly doubles every challenge and every miracle at once. Becoming a parent already transforms life completely, but becoming the parent of twins creates a level of emotional intensity that many people only understand after living through it personally. The world often romanticizes twins as something magical, adorable, and extraordinary, while forgetting the emotional storms, sleepless nights, fears, sacrifices, and invisible loneliness that many parents silently carry every single day. This video is a powerful reflection about the hidden emotional reality of raising twins, about the moments no one warns you about, and about the strength parents discover inside themselves when they feel they have nothing left to give. If this story resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment sharing your own experience, and join a community where honest conversations about family, parenting, and emotional connection truly matter. The first shock for parents of twins is not the announcement itself, but the silent understanding that life will never move at a normal speed again. From the moment they hear the news, excitement becomes intertwined with fear, because every dream immediately doubles in size alongside every responsibility. While friends and relatives celebrate the miracle of two babies arriving together, the parents quietly begin calculating sleepless nights, financial pressure, emotional exhaustion, and the terrifying possibility of not being enough for either child. There is an invisible grief that often accompanies this transition, because the version of life they once imagined suddenly disappears forever. Freedom changes shape, routines collapse, and even basic tasks become complicated negotiations against time and fatigue. Yet most parents hide these emotions because society expects gratitude, not vulnerability. They smile for pictures while internally questioning whether they are capable of surviving the intensity ahead. In those early moments, many parents realize that preparation is an illusion, because nothing truly explains what it means to divide yourself endlessly between two lives that both need everything from you simultaneously. The exhaustion of raising twins is not ordinary tiredness. It becomes a physical and emotional condition that slowly transforms every aspect of a person's identity. Sleep deprivation stretches across weeks and months until reality begins feeling blurred, repetitive, and emotionally unstable. Parents learn to function while completely depleted, carrying babies with trembling arms while trying to remember when they last cared for themselves properly. The world continues moving around them as if everything is normal, but inside the home, time becomes measured by feeding schedules, crying patterns, diaper changes, and tiny moments of silence that feel more valuable than luxury. Many parents quietly mourn the disappearance of their individuality because survival leaves no space for personal desires, hobbies, rest, or emotional processing. Relationships often suffer under the weight of constant pressure, and even loving couples can begin feeling like exhausted co-workers trapped inside an endless emergency. Still, despite the chaos, parents continue moving forward because twins create a bond of responsibility so deep that giving up emotionally never feels like an option, even when every part of the body and mind is screaming for relief. One of the hardest emotional realities parents of twins face is the constant fear of failing one child while trying to help the other. When one baby cries louder, the other waits. When one child needs comfort, the other may receive patience instead of affection. Parents constantly split their attention, their energy, and their emotional presence, often carrying enormous guilt no matter how hard they try. Society promotes unrealistic ideas about perfect parenting, but twins force parents into impossible situations every single day. There are moments when both children need different things simultaneously, and no decision feels completely right. Over time, this emotional pressure can create a deep internal sadness because parents begin questioning whether they are truly giving either child enough love, enough attention, or enough emotional security. Yet the children rarely see the imperfections their parents obsess over. What they experience instead is relentless sacrifice, continuous presence, and unconditional effort. Twins grow up witnessing a form of love built not on perfection, but on endurance, resilience, and the extraordinary ability of exhausted parents to continue showing up emotionally even when they feel completely broken inside. Isolation becomes another hidden struggle that many parents of twins experience but rarely discuss openly. Friends without children often cannot relate to the intensity of the lifestyle, while parents of single children may unintentionally underestimate the emotional and logistical challenges involved. Invitations slowly disappear because leaving the house becomes complicated, expensive, and physically draining. Simple activities that once felt effortless suddenly require military-level planning, emotional preparation, and immense patience. Many parents begin feeling invisible to the outside world, trapped inside routines that nobody truly understands. Social media makes this loneliness worse because it often presents idealized images of parenting while hiding the emotional breakdowns happening behind the camera. Parents of twins may smile in photos while privately struggling with anxiety, depression, burnout, or overwhelming emotional fatigue. Yet within this isolation, something unexpected sometimes emerges. Parents develop an almost unbreakable emotional connection with each other and with their children because survival demands honesty, teamwork, and vulnerability. The loneliness becomes painful, but it also strips away superficial relationships and reveals which people are genuinely willing to stand beside them during the hardest seasons of life. Financial pressure also becomes an enormous emotional burden that quietly follows many parents of twins everywhere they go. Every expense arrives doubled, from diapers and formula to clothes, medical appointments, childcare, and education. Parents often feel trapped between the desire to provide everything possible and the terrifying reality that resources are limited. Many sacrifices happen silently behind closed doors. Dreams are postponed, careers are adjusted, and personal ambitions are placed on hold because the immediate needs of the children become the center of existence. The emotional weight of constantly worrying about money can create tension inside relationships and deep feelings of inadequacy within parents themselves. They may compare their lives to others who seem more financially stable and wonder whether they are failing their family. Yet children rarely measure love through material perfection. What remains unforgettable are the moments of emotional presence, protection, warmth, and consistency. Parents of twins often discover that true richness is not defined by luxury or comfort, but by the ability to create emotional safety during unstable times. In the middle of financial fear, many families unexpectedly build deeper gratitude, stronger unity, and a greater understanding of what truly matters in life. There is also a profound psychological transformation that occurs when parents realize they can no longer control every outcome. Twins teach surrender in ways few experiences can. No schedule remains perfect forever, no strategy works every day, and no amount of planning completely prevents chaos. Parents who once relied on structure and certainty often find themselves emotionally reshaped by unpredictability. They learn that survival sometimes means lowering expectations, forgiving mistakes, and accepting imperfection as part of the journey rather than evidence of failure. This transformation can feel deeply uncomfortable because modern society constantly pressures people to optimize, organize, and master every aspect of life. But twins dismantle the illusion of total control. They expose emotional vulnerabilities that many adults spent years hiding from themselves. Some parents discover unresolved trauma, anxiety, or emotional fragility only after the relentless demands of raising twins remove every emotional distraction and force them to confront their internal limits directly. Yet within this confrontation exists the possibility of profound emotional growth. Parents slowly become more patient, more empathetic, more emotionally honest, and more aware of the fragile humanity shared by every exhausted person trying to hold their family together. The relationship between parents often changes dramatically under the pressure of raising twins, and this shift can either strengthen love or expose emotional fractures that previously remained hidden. Constant exhaustion leaves little room for romance, intimacy, or meaningful communication. Conversations become focused on survival rather than emotional connection, and resentment can quietly build when one partner feels unseen, unsupported, or emotionally overwhelmed. Small disagreements suddenly carry enormous emotional weight because both people are operating beyond their physical and mental limits, yet within this difficulty exists a unique opportunity for deeper partnership. Couples who learn to communicate honestly, ask for help, and acknowledge each other's invisible sacrifices often develop a bond rooted in profound respect and emotional resilience. They stop idealizing love as constant happiness and begin understanding it as shared endurance during impossible moments. Raising twins forces couples to confront the reality that relationships are not sustained by passion alone, but by teamwork, emotional generosity, patience, and the willingness to continue choosing each other during seasons when life feels unbearably difficult. In many cases, surviving these struggles together creates a connection far stronger than either person imagined possible before becoming parents. As twins grow older, parents often begin noticing something extraordinary emerging from the chaos that once consumed their lives. The children develop a connection unlike anything most people will ever experience, a silent emotional understanding built from sharing life since the very beginning. Watching this bond form can feel deeply healing for parents who once questioned whether their sacrifices were enough. Moments that once seemed impossible suddenly become memories filled with meaning. The sleepless nights, emotional breakdowns, and overwhelming exhaustion begin transforming into stories of survival, resilience, and love. Parents realized they were not simply raising two children, they were building an emotional ecosystem where connection, empathy, and companionship would shape their lives forever. The twins themselves often become sources of comfort for one another, reducing loneliness in ways parents could never fully replicate alone. This realization does not erase the hardships, but it reframes them. Parents begin understanding that some of the deepest forms of human connection are born not through comfort, but through shared struggle, emotional endurance, and the willingness to continue loving even when life feels overwhelmingly difficult. Many parents of twins also experience a quiet identity crisis that unfolds slowly over the years. After dedicating so much energy to caregiving, they sometimes struggle to remember who they were before parenthood consumed every part of life. Their personal dreams, ambitions, and emotional needs may have been ignored for so long that reconnecting with themselves feels unfamiliar and even uncomfortable. Society often praises self-sacrifice in parents while ignoring the emotional cost of disappearing entirely into caregiving responsibilities. Parents of twins especially may feel guilty for wanting rest, independence, or personal fulfillment because survival conditioned them to prioritize everyone else first. Yet rediscovering individuality becomes essential not only for the parents themselves but also for the emotional health of the family. Children benefit from seeing parents who are emotionally alive, self-aware, and connected to their own humanity. Slowly, many parents begin rebuilding parts of themselves they thought were lost forever. They reconnect with passions, friendships, creativity, and emotional healing. This process teaches an important truth. Loving children deeply does not require abandoning personal identity completely. Sustainable love grows stronger when people learn how to care for themselves alongside the people who depend on them most. Eventually, many parents of twins reach a moment of reflection where they realize the experience changed them permanently in ways no one could have predicted. They became stronger than they believed possible, but also softer, more emotionally aware, and more compassionate toward human struggle. Raising twins strips away illusions about perfection, control, and emotional invincibility. It teaches people how fragile the human mind and body truly are, while simultaneously revealing extraordinary depths of endurance and love. Parents begin understanding that the most meaningful parts of life are rarely the easiest ones. The chaos, fear, exhaustion, and uncertainty become intertwined with memories of laughter, tiny hands reaching for comfort, and the indescribable beauty of watching two lives grow side by side. In the end, many parents realize they were never meant to be fully prepared. Preparation implies control, and parenthood was never designed to be controlled completely. Instead, it becomes a journey of adaptation, emotional courage, sacrifice, vulnerability, and connection. The struggle itself becomes part of the love story, shaping families into something imperfect, exhausted, resilient, and profoundly human. Parents of twins often spend years believing they are barely surviving, when in reality they are accomplishing something extraordinary every single day. Behind the exhaustion, the fear, the sacrifices, and the invisible emotional battles exists a powerful truth that many people overlook. Love is not measured by perfection, but by presence. The sleepless nights, the overwhelming pressure, and the moments of emotional collapse do not make parents weak. They reveal the depth of their humanity and the strength required to continue loving through chaos. No one is ever truly prepared for raising twins because some experiences are meant to transform people rather than simply test them, and perhaps that is the most beautiful part of the journey. In the middle of uncertainty and exhaustion, families discover resilience, connection, and emotional bonds strong enough to survive even the hardest seasons of life together.